It's Jan Beta, and maybe you remember the last video where I replaced the CIA chip in my original Amiga 500. This is a whole series that was meant to have like 3 parts or 4 parts, and I think this is the 5th part because it's still not quite working correctly. Turns out the floppy disk drive isn't working correctly, so I connected my GoTech drive, which is basically... it's a bit loud still. I connected my GoTech drive, which is basically a floppy disk drive emulator that can do various, depending on the firmware that you put on there, it can emulate various floppy disk drives. I'm using the, I think an ancient version of the Cortex floppy firmware. I didn't update the firmware for this purpose. I'm just testing if some games that I had crashes with the original drive are working from the GoTech drive, from the same floppy disk images that are made from the floppy disks. So it turns out this drive has some issues, and I got random crashes and random read-write errors for some games, just like I showed you in the last video. So what I'm going to try to do today is to try to fix this drive, the original internal drive. I hope that I can get it to work properly. It does work to an extent, but in the last sectors of each disc it has some random read-write errors, so some games are pretty unplayable. Yeah, let's see what we can do. The good news is that the Amiga with the new CIA chip seems to be working just fine. I played for hours using the GoTech and everything just works very well, and nothing overheats, nothing started smelling bad or something like that. So this Amiga itself is fully fixed and restored now. The only thing that I'm worried about is the drive, so I hope to fix that. If I can't fix it, I probably have a replacement for that that I could put in there. Or maybe, I'm not a huge fan of the GoTech drives, but they are really convenient, so I may place this in there until I fix the drive or something like that. We'll work it out. Bear with me while I try to fix the original floppy disk drive of my personal Amiga 500. Also, if you didn't follow the series, I recommend maybe watching 1 or 2 parts of the series. There's still going to be more videos because I didn't manage to fix all of the stuff yet. So there's going to be more follow-up videos sometime. So I have the real physical disk drive reinserted in my Amiga, and as you can see, I still get the same errors in the last tracks of the discs, and it doesn't seem to depend on the disc. It's just like on every disc, so there is definitely something wrong with the drive. The Xcopy check worked with the GoTech just fine, so it's not any other part of the hardware. What I also did, because someone suggested it in the comments, and it is definitely a good idea, is to reseat the Paula chip, which is responsible not only for the sound but also for the drive controls, other than the clocks for the drive, which is what the CIA is for, that I replaced with a working one. So yeah, that didn't help. I still get the same faults as before. So what I want to do today is to completely try everything that I know about these drives and some new things I learned from comments and emails I got. First thing I want to do is to replace the electrolytic capacitors, which probably won't help with fixing the fault that I got, but probably will help this live longer in general. And as I have enough clearance below the drive in the Amiga 500, these are the standoffs, so I have plenty of room. These are very small flat capacitors, and I don't have these in stock, but I have normal size, like double the height of these in stock, so I'm just going to use those to replace these here. Yeah, so I think this whole circuit board here can come out, and I can replace the capacitors in that. That's what I'm going to do. I think I want to slide this. Yes, I want to slide this out. Then this connector disconnects. Then I can probably angle it a bit. Yep. And get it out. And there's another connector on the other side. Yep. 2 other connectors. So there's 2 other connectors in there that I have to disconnect. Okay, I'm just going to take a picture of the pin out there. That's a lot of connectors. And then there's this connector, then there's this connector here that's left. And I think it's just 22 microfarad ones, these 3 here, and the 1 microfarad one that I'm just going to replace. Ta-da! Hopefully assembled correctly. I'm glad I took a photograph of the little connectors on the back side of the board, so I hope to have these in the right order and in the right orientation. So fingers crossed this still works or even works better. Let's see. Okay, people always ask me if the caps are still good, and this time I measured them and they are all alright. So this will probably not have fixed the problem with the drive, but yeah, it won't make things worse, hopefully. I didn't expect this would fix the drive, but it was like kind of worth a try. And these little caps are more often than not the culprits when these drives fail. So if you have random errors or stuff like that, it might be the little caps on the PCB. Okay, reassembled the Amiga. Let's see if it still works. So the drive seems to fail in the exact same way as before, as expected, because the caps were fine that were on there. Yep. I'm getting read-write errors. I'm getting the exact same read-write errors, so we have to check the physical stuff on the drive, I guess. Let's see if we get the same read-write errors close to the end of the disk. I think so. Yep. Yeah, and as you can see, it's the exact same behavior as before, so we have to check the drive physically. So we have to remove the shield again. So let's see if we can remove the shield again and try some stuff on the drive, maybe while it's connected. I have to make some room on my bench here, and I'll be right back. So I cut open the little aluminum tape that I put on there, and here we are. So here's the more or less naked drive. And I think I want to put some more lubricant on the rails here, because probably wasn't quite enough. We should remove the whole assembly here. And I think it's only held in with one screw, so we probably I'm going to remove the whole black assembly and to have better access to the rest of the drive mechanism there. Yep. So I just realized I could have inserted the little plugs on the PCB here way easier from this side. Yeah, so I'll do it better next time I do it. And if you're seeing this, you are probably going to do it right the first time you do it. So that's what I'm here for. So as far as I can see, the black assembly here, which is the one holding down the disc, is only held in place with this one screw here. So we probably should remove that. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's the screw. Now I can remove this hole. Okay! And I can see a hair right away. So let's try and clean it up a bit more. There's like somebody's hair in there, probably that is not good. There's more hair in there, there's a lot of hair. Maybe that's my old hair from back in the day. Okay, now I'm going to apply some silicone grease. As somebody pointed out, it's not silicone fat, even though it says silicone fat, which is German for silicone grease. I apologize. This is not my native language. Silicone grease. So I'm lubricating the rails with silicone grease. And while I'm here, I'm also going to clean the head one more time, I guess. The heads are underneath this copper shield. I'm just going to bend this slightly. But it's probably not the dirt on the head. Otherwise we would get different faults. So let's clean this a bit more thoroughly while we're in here. And I'm applying some more grease to what I can identify as moving parts. Okay, there we go. This should be working now. Okay, and it works even smoother because I lubricated a lot of the parts. Feels good. Okay, let's see if this thing works any better. Woohoo! I see our problem there. Okay, I think I see what the problem is. I have Xcopy set to read only the last tracks of the disk from 70 to 79, so we get the little area where we got the errors. Yeah, we're going to see the little area there specifically. I'm just going to start the disk check that I had running a couple of times now, and you are going to see what the matter is. So here it is. Let's start the check on the last tracks, and the head should move there for the last tracks. And there we start getting faults and errors. I don't know if you can see it, but the head is coming up slightly. So we should like This is like a spring that should just press it down, I think, which it doesn't do as much as intended. So that might be our whole problem there. So we might just add some weight to the top of it and see if that helps. And this problem was also pointed out by Mr. T. Guru, who wrote me some very informative emails, and he's working with these things a lot. He just used an Australian $2 coin, he said, because it's like 6 grams of weight, and he just put it on top of the little assembly here to weight it down a bit and got rid of the errors that way. I think this spring mechanism that should put this down is just wearing out a bit. Okay, I'm using a 10-cent coin as a weight, and I'm just using some rolled up tape to put it on here. Maybe this works. So yeah, let's see. Let's try. Yeah, nope. That was too little weight. Still get the same errors, more or less. Need a bigger coin. I think maybe 50 cents. Maybe 50 cents is the right amount. And it should not be a problem to put metal on there, but because there's a copper shield anyway, so probably, yeah, it got a bit better. Not much. Need more weight. More weight. Let's use €2. No, now it does like real errors everywhere. That was worth a try, I guess, but it's not. So as you can see, it got a tiny bit better. We don't get as many errors as we had before, but yeah, really, it's not perfect. Okay, I'm trying to put something under this metal thing here, which I think is the spring also. So here's the spring. This is like a little copper plate thing that is tacked there. That's the thing that gives this whole thing its springiness, I guess. Yeah. Can of course try to put something under this metal bracket here to get this head assembly bit further down. Maybe that helps. Let's try that. So just sticking some cardboard under there. Let's see if that helps any. If that does any good. Okay, so that didn't do any good at all. So let's just remove that. Okay, I may have found the problem. It's pretty tough to see, but there's like a sticker thing that's hanging loose, like this direction at an angle, hanging down from the read-write head. That's like framing the top head. And that came loose, and probably that's what, while it is close to the disk, that pushes the head slightly up and doesn't allow for it to make good contact to the disk anymore. So we'll see if we can fix that. Okay, so I just realized that the whole top head came loose. So I'm just going to put some glue there, I guess, and hope for the best. Probably going to use some epoxy glue because it's the strongest glue I have at hand. Yeah, that's not so great. It's not only I don't know if you can see it at all. It's pretty tough to see. It's not only the sticker round there. It's the whole head, look. Oh, this is going to be messy. Okay, let's mix some epoxy in. So if this works, I don't really know what I'm going to do. But this might work. So I put some epoxy. It was impossible to film, I'm afraid. I put some epoxy on the head there. And now I'm going to use some Kapton tape to fix the little thingo on the head there. Okay, I'm just gonna let this dry and let's hope for the best, I guess. And I'm letting the spring hold it against the other head, so the bottom head, so maybe it can like heal in the right position. And they seem visually they seem still to be aligned on top of each other. So fingers crossed. So much. I don't really know if this works. I don't really know if anybody ever had this problem or tried this fix. So I placed it upside down to let its own weight press down on the parts so that the glue will hopefully cure in the right position. We'll see about that in a bit. Yeah, I'm just going to let this cure and cross my fingers. And I'll be back in a bit. This is 5-minute epoxy, so it's I let this cure for about an hour, I guess. So this is probably alright now. Let's see if it still moves. No, it doesn't move. That's a good thing. Yeah, and then I'm going to reassemble it a bit and hope for the best. Okay, let's see if it explodes. Turning on the Amiga. And it's still ticking, which is a good sign. Let's see if it still boots anything. Okay, no it doesn't. Okay, so now it doesn't work at all. That's not cool. So it's trying, but it doesn't do anything really. So I removed the Kapton tape and it seems to do something. It just loaded Emerald Mine, which it didn't do before, I think. So let's see if we can fully load this. Yay! And it worked. This drive didn't load this before, so it definitely did something. Whew, okay. Not too bad. Let's see what Xcopy has to say. Okay, let's see. This is our Xcopy disk, and yeah, it's definitely trying to load something. Okay, it's not even showing any disk error anymore. That's good signs. Maybe that fixed it really. Man, that would be amazing. Okay, let's see. Let's do the whole disk through, shall we? Yes! Okay, I just successfully seem to have glued on the top hat of my original internal Amiga 500 drive. Man! Whew! Okay, let's do some further testing and see if the games that didn't work at all work now. Okay, so this didn't work at all and very badly and destructively crashed. Man, so I seem to have fixed it. That's cool. So it was the head that was loose and the little thing flapping around that was like framing the head that misaligned the head. Yeah, but now we seem to be fine again. That's amazing. So the Amiga and the internal drive do now fully work. I'm going to test this for a while, of course, obviously, before I call this repair and restoration finished. But for this video I think we've done enough. It's definitely working again, and these were the discs that weren't working at all before and gave me read-write errors. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little adventure. It was an adventure indeed. Using epoxy on a drive head is not something I am doing every day. So it seems to have worked. I'm pretty happy. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again on my channel sometime. Check out the links in the description and check out my Patreon if you like my work here and want to support me. And yeah, there's also a website now you can check out. And of course, thumbs up, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Thanks for watching. I'm Beta. Hopefully see you next time. Bye. Yeah, obviously I have to put the cover back on.